What's up, guys? Coach Vassar. Thank you for joining me with OTF Audio Daily Beats. As always, if you're new, appreciate you tuning in, listening to me talk about these workouts. So if you have any insight, any feedback, let me know. If you find value in them, as always, information is in the description to support me, and I do appreciate that. We're going to talk about Tuesday, October 7th. This workout does not repeat later in the month. We're going to see power on the treads, the rowers, and then strength on the weight floor. As always, we'll talk about the 2G, then break down the 3G. For the key concepts today on the 2G, for the tread, it's all about how powerful you could be today with 3 blocks and 9 all-outs. The all-outs get shorter each block, so your goal is to increase the intensity. Practice, perfect, perform within the block. For the rower, you'll end your 3 floor blocks with an all-out row, timed up with the treads. Can you up your average watts as the rows get shorter, so be more powerful? Then on the floor, we have 3 blocks built in strength by lifting heavy dumbbells slowly for one round, then regular tempo for the rest of the block. So on the treads, 3 blocks are set up exactly the same. The first one is 7.5 minutes. There's a 90-second walk recovery, get back to base when they're ready, between each block. Block 2 is 6.5 minutes. Block 3 is 5.5 minutes. We're going to see 2 things change. 1, the duration of the base, and 2, the duration of the all-out. Okay, so in block 1, we start with a 1-minute push, 90 base, and then we have 3 rounds of a 1-minute all-out and a 1-minute walk recovery to follow. Okay, after the second all-out, that 1-minute walk recovery is your heads up to have the weight floor stop what they're doing, get to the rower, and when the treads do that third all-out, that's when the rowers will hit their 1-minute all-out as well. Okay, so the push and the base are essentially opportunity for them to kind of ramp up into the intensity of the all-out. So keep it mid-range intensity. Power walkers, they say 6% or greater. Joggers and runners, 1 up to maybe 1.5 over their base, just to get them moving, and then 90-second base. Bikes and striders, keep it about 3 gears over base for the push, and that way they have that room to add when it goes to the all-outs. For the first one, all-out, block 1 is a minute. Okay, and we want to maintain or increase on the repeats. So how that first one feel? They have a full minute to recover, then they go into 1 minute of work. Because they don't have the 2.5 minutes prior to the all-out, even though they might be fatigued, they could probably add 0.1 or so to the second all-out, or at least maintain. During the third all-out, hopefully that recovery has finally caught up to them, and they could perform on this last one with a big increase. Okay, and then block 2, the base gets shorter. So they have a 1-minute push, 75 base, and the all-outs are 45 seconds. Typically on a template like this, I like to encourage people to start the second block with whatever their best all-out was from the previous block. So whatever the best all-out from the third all-out was, let's try that for this 45-second all-out, and then can we maintain it or add to it on the next 2. And then finally block 3, 1-minute push, 1-minute base, and then 30-second all-outs. Okay, same idea. Hey, what did you do for that last 45 all-out? Can we start with that for this 30 and then build on it? Okay, either way, what we want to see, especially with heart rate response, is the first, push base all-out. It's a steady climb up, levels out, and then climbs, and then spikes near the end of the all-out, and then it comes back down, hopefully towards like a mid-range green, and then they start going into that next all-out. By the end of the all-out, it taps into that orange, but then they have that walk, and we should see the heart rate come down lower on that second walk recovery compared to the first one. And then the third walk recovery, definitely a lot lower because they have more time. And each block will kind of follow that trend. So we should see that, the peaks get higher, but also the dips in recovery, climb up slowly and not drop as much because of fatigue. Now, when we look at the weight floor side, 3 blocks over here. Power strength is kind of the focus. Strength is on the weight floor, power is on the rower. For the weight floor, it's always set up with 2 movements for 1 round at a slow tempo. So we're going to have a front-loaded single arm split squat. So whichever arm has the weight, that's the foot that goes back. It's going to be 3 counts down, pause, 1 controlled count up is the standard slow tempo. If you want to have an off-mic challenge for some members, rather than going heavy, could they do 3 counts each direction? Okay, moderate to heavy weight, pick a rep that feels good within that rep range. Once they've done both sides, rest, And then it's a reverse grip low row. Knowing that it's all about that slow and controlled tempo, you could have people do a single arm reverse grip low row. That way it helps take some of that pressure off that lower back if they split their stance. And of course, they'll hit both sides. Once they complete one round at slow tempo, then they do the movements at a regular tempo. So 2 counts down, 2 counts up. Knowing that the tempo quickens slightly, they could lift heavier as a challenge. But at least they should be able to maintain their weights. And then once again, during that second walk recovery on the weight floor, or on the treads, weight floor, stop what you're doing, come on over to the rowers. They're going to strap in stored programs, 1 minute countdown, and they're going to hit this all out row. The goal is to match or beat average watts. Okay, so if people do not have an OT beat monitor, they're not going to get this information. So for those members, pay attention to their distance, and then can they stay within, like, I would say 50 meters of that on the next round and then on the next round. Now, for the people who do have the monitors, what they'll need to do is obviously log in, stored programs, 1 minute, they hit the row, and then to check their average wattage, they need to hit sign out, and then it'll be displayed on the screen. And then when they eventually come back, when they log back in, of course, it'll be displayed on the bottom there as well. But they could see it right away, so it points out to them, oh, my average watts was 200. When they come back during block 2, they log in, they'll see average watts on the bottom line. Oh, that's right, it was 200. So when they do the next all-out row, it's shorter. When they finish the 45, hit sign out, was their average watts higher than before, or at least the same? Okay, now the movements for block 2 though, we have a single dumbbell good morning, grabbing onto that handle, pull those elbows back. You want both heads of the dumbbell glued to the torso. A lot of times people will do a goblet position, and what that causes as they hinge, that bottom head will separate from the body. So go from the handle and pull those elbows back, maintain that good connection to the torso from the chest and right below the sternum. So right on the solar plex on the belly. Okay, hinging back, get that nice stretch in the hamstrings. This is a great movement for people who struggle with the deadlift and they don't quite feel the same work with a glute bridge. Because once again, the glute bridge, it starts from a contracted position of the hamstrings and they're squeezing the glutes and then they're coming back down. With a good morning and deadlift, you feel more of that stretch in the hamstrings. So there's better correlation in terms of progression of doing the good morning to eventually have people be successful with the deadlift later on. Okay, after the good morning, they go into the hollow hold, closed grip chest press. So slight lift of the shoulders off the ground. That way it helps keep the lower back glued down. I like to have people start with the knees bent in that upside down tabletop position or like a dead bug, so they could really cement that lower back down, and then keep the knees and ankles glued together, extend the feet away, see how far they could get their feet out before their back arches up. If their back arches up, pull the knees in slightly, and that's where they're going to keep it. Okay, and then elbows are tucked in, they hit the triceps, a little bit of the shoulders and chest with that closed grip chest press. 3 counts down, pause, 1 count up. Okay, and just like before, once they finish one round at the slow tempo, they do regular tempo into the 45 all out. Final block, we see the bridge hold with pullover. So feet are down, hips are up, extend out, keep those elbows locked as they reach back and come back up. So 3 counts down, pause, 1 count up, and then the Arnold press. So the slow phase for this one is technically the way down. So 1, 2, 3, pause, 1 count up. Okay. For the pullover, same thing. 3 counts on the way down. 1, 2, 3, pause, 1 count up. Try to make sure on that pullover though, that the pause, they don't rest the weight on the floor. Try to keep it off the floor. And then they finish up with that 30-second all out. Do they match or beat the average watts? Looking at the 3G, treads are gonna have 2 blocks. Set up the same way as the 2G, so it's actually the same 2 blocks. Block 1 is the 1 minute all out duration, so 1 minute push, 90 base, 3 rounds of a 1 minute all out, 1 minute walk recovery, 90 seconds to recover after the third all out. And then block 2 is the third block from the 2G. So 1 minute push, 1 minute base, and then 30-second all outs for 3 rounds. For the rower, it is one long sequence for 14.5 minutes. They're going to select new interval 1 time. They're going to do a 1 minute all out row, rock their handle and rest. And then when they are ready, go for another 1 minute without resetting the screen. Rest, and then do it again. After that third all out, check their total distance of those 3 rounds, And then can we stay within 200 meters of that in part 2? Okay. Of course, before they go to part 2, they are getting off the rower and they have the body weight step out squats for 10 reps. Part 2, check their distance from before. Remember, that's their goal of trying to get within 200 meters of that, but they'll do that with 3 rounds of a 45-second all out. Personally, what I would have members try to do is when they finish their all out, let the water keep moving. When the water stops, that's when they start the next round. Okay, and then also keep track of what the time is. And then the third part, of course, for 30 seconds. After they finish their 3 rounds of 30-second all-outs and step-out squats, they have a bonus 15-second all-out row, rack and rest, until ready for the finisher, which is the step-out squat. So they'll actually get off the rower and do squats for the final 30. On the weight floor, we're going to see a combination of the different blocks of movement. So block 1, we're going to have the single arm split squat and reverse grip low row, and the bridge hold pullover, 1 round of each for 6 to 10 reps. When they are done, standard tempo. And then block 2, we have the Arnold press, the good morning, and the closed grip chest press. So they have it set up where you have a squat and pull row motion in block 1, and then hinge and press work in block 2. And then the finisher is the member choice of either reverse grip low rows or the Arnold press at a standard tempo. And they are done. Other than that, that is going to be your workout for October 7th. Once again, it does not repeat in this month because of Hell Week. Other than that, coach it down.